BTC Reaper, and my goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading when the price is going up or down. Over on total for the daily, we did get a red candle. This is why I tell you trade on confirmation and not your emotion, because if you waited for confirmation, you would see we have a bullish rejection, meaning this could be a lower high, which may be followed by a lower low that would break this support level. Momentum is in the bearish territory. VWAP is favoring bearish, and if that VWAP rolls over, momentum will continue lower, leading money flow lower, so watch the lower time frames. Over on the 1 hour here, we did attempt to make a higher high, but we did not stick. Now, what's positive about this is a long upper shadow candle. It was followed by a red candle. That's going to cause bearish pressure most likely. We'll get into other things that'll cause bearish pressure, but a long upper shadow candle like this, or any candle wick, does tend to fill just like a gap. So that being said, even if we do see short-term sell-off due to the news that just happened, it's likely we would end up rebounding at some point. And remember, the quicker you move down, the quicker that retracement can happen. VWAP is getting lower lows with lower highs on the 1 hour, so I would watch that until that reverses. We're likely going to continue lower. Stochastic is dropping, RSI is weakening, momentum's pulling back due to that VWAP, and money flow is in the green, but with the VWAP and momentum dropping, it's likely we're going to see that reverse and come back down, which could weaken those higher time frames and give us that environment for those stronger red candles on this daily. So this is almost a bearish engulfing candle, which is a red candle that says bigger than the previous green candle, which usually is followed by more sell-off, like back here, and we probably have an example right here. We did try to pump up and invalidate it, but overall we did end up dropping away. So usually when you see those, it's not a great sign. Over on Bitcoin futures for the daily, we did attempt to break through that value area high like we said we should see, but we were unable to hold. If we continue to be unable to hold that, it's likely we would continue lower. Futures usually does lead Bitcoin, so it's kind of interesting seeing that they're not lining up right now, but futures is not trading right now. You see the ticker's not moving now, it's not trading, where everything else would be moving and it has a time clock. So we're kind of going to be dead in the water here, but what's good about that is futures moved up and Bitcoin is moving down. This is going to probably create some sort of gap for us, at which point could fill at a later date. So if we do see that retracement down toward that 70-80K like we've been telling you for quite some time now, then it's likely we could end up pumping back up with some positive news, possibly news of the war. VWAP does want to push up, momentum does want to gain strength, money flow is selling off, so overall that daily is not very strong. I would watch it. Remember, we do have that 70-80K range. The MPP does project lower, but our MPP here on the 1 hour is still in line with that 80K. It's a lower probability, is still projecting a higher low, so watch for hang up around this 85K right where we are. If we can make a higher low here, we still have a chance to pump up, but we saw a straight channel. Remember, when you have a straight channel, that's a rising channel. We'll show that on Bitcoin, and rising channels break you down. Momentum, at least most of the time. Remember, there's no guarantees in trading. Things are like 70-80%. The key is having probability on your side, along with proper risk management. VWAP is breaking into the bearish territory, momentum is starting to roll over, stochastic is dropping, RSI is falling, and money flow is green, but with that VWAP starting to pull back, I would watch that money flow as it's likely going to come back down as well. Over on Bitcoin for the daily, we got the same long upper shadow candle, so watch for a big red candle tomorrow. If we get a big red candle, that would be a confirmation of a lower high, which is likely going to be attempted to be followed by a lower low. So we're likely going to hit that 80K, and if we can't meet support there, we're going to test around the 77, possibly down towards 75, and maybe even lower. Remember, on futures, we do have like a 54K gap, so we do have potential to drop down there. I wouldn't think that would happen unless we actually are in a bear market, which there would be a probability with things kind of looking a little more not so positive for us. But I'm not going to give up hope yet, as if the war does end, I think that would be a great catalyst, and we do have some catalysts like the it's not a stimulus, but the dividend that is being talked about next year. That likely would put a lot of market money in the market, and again, we could repeat like the virus era and get where you have a high, a drop, a pretty good drop that lasts for almost a year, and then money gets pumped into the market, and then we get a new high. hopefully that's the scenario we're going to go, and history will repeat in that aspect. The rest of history is pretty broken, in my opinion, though, as we have a lot of things going on in the market that we previously did not have. Our stochastic is pushing up, VWAP is in the bullish territory, momentum is gaining strength, and it does have a green dot, so that is positive. That could help continue us forward, providing that VWAP stays in bullish territory. But if we look at the 1 hour, we did mention this in the Discord that we had a rising channel. That was when we had, believe it was 2 or 3 touches to the bottom. We were right in this range. I believe it might have been the top of this candle before it wicked down on us, and then we got a rejection. We said in this range, watch for a rejection from this area. If it does, we would create a bearish continuation, or not bearish continuation, sorry, rising channel. Either way, they're dropping you down. We've got about most of that move down, but it could end up dropping us right around that 83K. We did warn of it pushing down right around that 85K. So our stochastic is starting to pull back. Our RSI is weakening, VWAP is favoring bearish, momentum is dropping as a result, and money flow is starting to stagnate. So if that VWAP does not get pushed forward, it's likely momentum will continue lower and money flow will start to weaken, which in turn will start to weaken the daily if we see this last for several days. So if we see this go into the next couple days, then it's going to be cause for concern where we may get those lower lows. And the stock market may end up selling off tomorrow, which that would be interesting because usually when stocks sell off, crypto does go up historically, but the current trend, it does seem to trade more evenly. That's why we haven't been covering the Dixie, because the point of the Dixie was usually when the Dixie goes down, crypto goes up, but we have seen a lot of kind of parallels to them lately. Stochastic is pretty flat here overall. We are in bearish territory over on graph for the daily. VWAP is pushing up, momentum is overall pushing down, and money flow is pretty deep in the red, so that VWAP needs to push forward and continue up. It does look like it's starting to round, so if that VWAP does round, it would create a lower high, which could be followed by consistent or lower lows that will start to break us lower and push us down toward that 7951 like the MPP does project here on the 1 hour. So we do have that long upper shadow candle possibility. I call this more of a doji because that lower candle wick is pretty long. Just like here, this is a classic, like a textbook doji here. You might have a little bit bigger of a body, but I would watch. We are following it with a red candle though, so it is acting more of that bearish candle. Again, showing that we tried to pump up, bulls tried to push us forward, they failed to hold that range, and bears are starting to step in. That's what these wicks kind of mean. Our stochastic is starting to drop away. VWAP is breaking bearish with lower lows and lower highs with a red dot on the momentum, signaling momentum wants to continue lower, which will continue to weaken money flow, at which point we'll see higher time frames weaken and continue that drop away. Again, potentially hitting that 7951. Over on XRP for the daily, we are seeing some consolidation, so I would exercise caution. Remember, consolidation after a push down creates a bear flag that can continue to drop you away. So if we draw a parallel channel here, pull that down, that's a pretty narrow flag, but you get your move from the top down to the bottom, and then you apply that pull down if we can grab the right part of the chart, and that would give us a push down toward that 170. So we have been mentioning that would be a strong, solid support level. So again, watch that very close. Our RSI overall is starting to weaken. We are holding that $2, but remember, $2 is very strong. It's also going to be hard to overcome if we do fall below it. But that being said, it's likely we could pump over it over the next few years. So if you're not in crypto for short term, don't be freaking out. VWAP does want to push up, momentum wants to gain strength, money flow is in the red, so overall we do look like we want to push forward, but things are a little more favorable to the bears. And over on the 1 hour, we may want to pull this flag forward a little bit more just to capture if we can get to a move here. I have it drawn too far for the 1 hour, our line's all the way over here, there we go, we can draw this like up there. So encompass more of those candle bodies that we see on the 1 hour. That doesn't change your breakout, so it doesn't really make much of a difference which way you draw it based on daily or 1 hour. But our stochastic is starting to fall away. RSI is weakening. Momentum is starting to fall. That VWAP does have lower highs and lower lows here on the 1 hour, causing that momentum to drop with a red dot. And if that continues, money flow will go from this weak green into red, which will confirm more bearish momentum, which likely would cause this flag to break down. We do have 1, 2, 3 touches to the top, 2 to the bottom. So when we approach the bottom here, it's likely we would see that breakdown. Again, watch for that breakout, a retest, and a rejection. That's going to be your confirmation that you will get those lower targets. Don't go for the max pain or max gain in any scenario. So maybe you want to buy at maybe like 190, leaving yourself a quite decent amount of headroom. Remember, you may only get about 2/3 of that drop down. So if we look over at the daily here, you could end up only dropping to like this 185. So if you're having your orders right at that max pain, right around that 170, odds are you may not get filled, and then you're going to be like, man, I wish I would have just hit the buy. So thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a great night. Hit the like and subscribe, and join us in the Discord.